She is Joint Secretary in charge of the Social Defense, and Yogita, who is the Economic Advisor and looks after the important things of manual scanning and other major issues. So friends, as you know, Honorable Finance Minister in her budget speech has laid down 6 major pillars on which the entire budget document has revolved around. These are, of course, you know it, but for the purpose of more clarity, I would like to read about it. The first pillar being health and well-being. Second, physical and financial capital and infrastructure. Third, inclusive development for aspirational India. Fourth, reinvigorating human capital. Fifth, innovation and R&D. And sixth, maximum government and minimum government and maximum governance. So these are the 6 pillars which has been stated by Honorable Finance Minister. Today, I would like to focus on pillar number 3 and 4, that is inclusive development and invigorating human capital, for which the budget has provided several features. And my intention is to take you through some of these interventions for your clearer understanding. We will also take questions if there are any after the statement. I have also placed a copy of this on the tables for your easy follow-up. Friends, as you know that there are 3 announcements in the budget speech. The first one, as you know, is about reducing the margin money for the startups, SC startups and ST startups from 25% to 15%. This scheme is being implemented by DPIIT, but it has got relevance for this pillar number 3 and 4. Second was the para 23, where they have mentioned about the post-matric scholarship scheme. This has been widely covered because it's a landmark decision of the government to change the mode of financing and also the manner of implementation of the very crucial scholarship scheme, which is meant to bring out the poorest into the mainstream. The third one is about the elderly population, people who are above 75 years of age, in order to reduce their cost of the difficulties that they face in filing the income tax returns. There is an exemption that has been given for those who are above 75 years and having only income from pension and the interest thereon. So these are the 3 announcements, but these are things which are apparent. But below that, where the allocations have been made, there are several innovative features which I would like to take you through. First thing is that there has been appreciable increase of the budget allocation for this very important department, which deals with the poorest and the most downtrodden. With reference to the finalized RE, there has been an increase of almost 28%. That is, it went up from 8,207 to 10,517 crores. And then there is also an additionality provided of 50 crores from the Senior Citizen Welfare Fund. So total budget allocation for this ministry would be at least 10,567.62 crores. So this is the highest that this ministry has ever got so far. And a large part of our schemes are implemented through the state government. So these are many of them, as you can see, 3/4 of the schemes are implemented through the state governments. So this brings in the importance of a cooperative federalism, where we work with the state governments in order to deliver service of the highest quality. The allocation for welfare of SCs is an innovative feature which the government has brought in. For the last 4 years, this is being done. So out of the total scheme cost, a certain proportion is set apart for the welfare of SCs, and this is done. This allocation has been made to every about 38 ministries and departments, and they further reallocate this to various schemes. The purpose is that we have to bring a greater focus on the welfare of the SCs with clearly verifiable outcomes. I am pleased to inform that this amount has increased from 83,256 crores in 2021 to 1,26,259 crores. So this is an increase of 51.55%, possibly one of the highest increase that we have ever seen. If you go to the enclosure section, many people have asked me as to where the increase has come. So we tried to put it that there are mainly increase has come in about 4 departments, and also there are schemes which have found major increase. One of the major increase was on the Jal Jeevan Mission, where 11,000 crores has been allocated for the welfare of SCs. So this is in response to our request to the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. Now it is called Jal Shakti Mantralaya. So to focus on providing Nal Jal, that is providing tap water for every house, with giving priority to the SC habitations, especially Pradhan Mantri Adarsh Gram Yojana villages which are having high SC population. And similarly, there has been higher allocations in NREGA. As you know, this is a major flagship program of the government, and there has already been a lot of participation of the SCs. So this 9,310 crores which has been allocated in the NREGA will herald at least a minimum amount of this. The expenditure can be more than that. So I have stated only these two. If there are any questions regarding the others, I will take it. So the point I am coming back to page number 1 and then to the page number 2 is that there has been a big increase in the allocation of the government allocation for the welfare of SCs, and this really brings out the seriousness with which the budget has taken the SC welfare. So I just wanted to now go behind the figures a little bit and then look at some of the programs which are which I would like to sort of elaborate a little bit and then see if there are any queries on that. First thing that has happened in this budget, as you can see, is that there is a major restructuring of the schemes. This ministry had possibly, maybe after agriculture, has got one of the largest number of schemes in the past. So they are very small schemes. There is contradictory schemes, overlapping schemes. So there has been a complete overhaul of the schemes, looking at the two important aspects. One, there should be synergy between the implementing schemes. So if there are two schemes, they must not step on each other. They should synergize in order to deliver very clearly laid out objective. The second thing is that the schemes which require higher allocation should get higher allocation, and the schemes which are not being put to use, some of them should be scrapped. So these are the issues which have gone into in proposing a major restructuring. As you know, from 31 schemes we have brought it down to 19 schemes. But in terms of the allocation, there has been a major increase, as I have already stated. Now I will briefly go through the schemes